What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, we've got a situation, folks, that I think we need to discuss. Check this out right here. First group of white South Africans land in U.S. under Trump refugee plan. Now, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, I'm not too keen on this whole refugee thing, right? But the situation that's going on in South Africa, it's kind of dire for some of these people, right? We've got the race hustlers over on MSNBC trying to claim racism. Check this out.
You're talking about the mayor of a city where people are being held without due process in many cases.
Right.
So he has the right to say, wait a minute, I want to know what's going on here. Now, you contrast that. President Trump is saying to white Afrikaners from South Africa, I'll give you refugee status. So we're bringing in white Afrikaners who we don't know if they're criminals. We don't know this, what they went through in the legal process in South Africa. But people right here in Newark, we're going to assume they're all criminal. We're going to bring them out. And if the mayor wants to say, wait a minute, let's have due process, lock him up. He's trespassing. It is as blatantly a double standard as one can get. What is the real policy going to be? And I think he's right. Judges have to establish, are we going to have due process? Or are we just going to let everybody go? And can the president just give other people blanket, you're refugees? So what's the difference, Mr. President, between a refugee and a guy that may be a criminal and may not be, given the Garcia situation?
Okay, there's a little bit more to that we're going to play here in just a second, but I've got to clear the air right quick. Mr. Al Sharpton right there was talking about, we don't know if these people are criminals or not. Well, hang on just a second. That's not true, is it? Because the State Department denied 11 of those South Africans from boarding the plane to come to the United States. And I love how he said, we don't know the difference between these refugees and what could be criminals, or they may not be criminals, blah. Hey, hang on, my guy. Like, if these people cross the border illegally, yes, they committed a crime. They don't deserve to be in this country. I'm sorry. Like I've stated thousands of times before, the people that cross the border illegally are not immigrants. They are definitely not immigrants. They do not care about the immigration process, because they bypassed a port of entry and illegally entered this country on purpose, knowing that we have rules, we have laws, we have strict code you need to adhere. There's a process by which we bring people into this country. These people do not deserve that same process on their way out if they bypass that process on their way in. Let's keep going.
I was deeply disappointed to learn yesterday that while the Trump administration was arresting you for standing up for migrants, they were also finalizing plans to fly white South Africans that they are calling refugees to the United States on State Department charter flights starting next week. They are organizing what White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller calls a large-scale relocation effort for these white migrants from South Africa, even while they're terrorizing other mostly non-white migrants who have been here for years. It seems to be a very clear signal of the racial politics behind this immigration crackdown. Doesn't that appear that way to you, Mayor Baraka?
Yeah, I don't think they've been hiding it, though. It's just that's kind of white supremacist authoritarianism that's happening. This country is slipping into authoritarianism, and we're watching it. We're watching them defy the courts. We're watching them lock up elected officials, put pressure on large legal organizations, make it difficult for people to oppose them, and attacking black and brown communities, attacking DEI, now flying white Afrikaners over here to the United States to find refuge where they deny refuge for everybody else, from war-torn communities at that. I mean, this is very clear to us. It has always been clear to me, and our job is to make sure we expose it.
Now, just to clear the air up right quick, that guy, that was the mayor of Newark, the same mayor that got arrested for breaking into an ICE detention facility, I believe Friday, maybe Saturday, I don't remember the exact day when it happened, but yeah, he got arrested and is being charged for that, as a matter of fact, which is fascinating. Those people definitely broke into that, right? The news is all over that this morning. They're talking about, oh, these people are victims, the Congress people. when there's clear video of these people being violent against cops. The one Congress lady was punching on cops, right? Like, it wasn't hard, obviously. It wasn't nothing that's going to fracture anybody's jaw or anything like that, not really even cause any damage, but still there was a physical altercation where these people were trying to bum rush into this facility when they were trying to offload, I guess, criminal aliens, deportees, if you will, trying to get these people off the bus, and they just show up unannounced with a damn protest right behind them, thinking that, oh, they're going to just let them come in, oh, nilly-willy over here, and inspect the facility while they're trying to offload detain. Like, but, you know, outside of that, I love it that it's every accusation is a confession all the time with these people, and it's so blatantly apparent that you can see right through these people's words. They don't mean what they're saying because they're confessing to their own authoritarianism and racism and black supremacy, if you will. And that is a problem. It is a growing problem because nobody shames these people into oblivion when they start talking about this black supremacist nonsense. Talking about, oh, white people, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I'm sorry. Just think about it like this. If you replaced whatever they say, white, and put black in that same place, would we still be having the same discussion? That's all you got to do. And if the answer to that is, yeah, we probably wouldn't say those things, or we would get shamed into oblivion for saying those things, then these people should absolutely get shamed into oblivion for saying these things. Just because these people are black or people of color, whatever you want to call them, does not give them the right to just be a racist outright, unfettered, unchecked, and just go on about their business. That is absolutely not the way to go about discriminating against people on the basis of race, or not discriminating against people on the basis of race, I should say. But we got this story, and once again, the corporate press loves to lie, y'all. They just love to lie. They love to leave out all kind of evidence. So let's get into the actual news and see what's going on here. A cohort of 49 South Africans left the country on Saturday for the U.S. on a privately chartered plane after being granted refugee status by the Trump administration as part of an anti-discrimination program announced in February. The group, which included families and small children, was due to arrive at Dulles International Airport outside Washington, D.C. on Monday morning local time, according to Colin, I can't even pronounce that, Msibi, a spokesperson for South Africa's transport ministry, obviously said. They are the first Afrikaners, an ethnic group of predominantly Dutch and French descent whose ancestors settled in South Africa in the 17th century, to be relocated to the U.S. after President Trump issued an executive order on February 7th accusing South Africa's black-led government of racial discrimination against the group and announcing a program to relocate them. In shocking disregard of its citizens' rights, the Republic of South Africa recently enacted Expropriation Act 13 of 2024 to enable the government of South Africa to seize ethnic minority Afrikaners' agricultural property without compensation, the Trump administration executive order states. Now, we went over that. That's just an insane law. Like, they can just take these people's land and just say, you boot it out. Now, have they done that? We don't know. The evidence, the data is not clear on this, because the government of South Africa is most definitely lying about this. Why would you enact this law if you're not going to use it, right? That's what laws are made for, by the way, is to enforce, for goodness sakes. You don't just go around making up laws nilly-willy for no apparent reason. We don't want to use this. No, I'm sorry. That's not how that works. But it's fascinating, y'all. And, it's hard to believe that some of these people would be just so blatant and brazen with this. It's just fascinating, y'all. The South African government vehemently denies that Afrikaners are being discriminated against and called the Trump administration's claim completely false, adding that it paints an unrepresentative picture of the country. Is that so? Well, look, you know what? It might not be the government doing it itself, but the people of South Africa most definitely are. Check this out.
For each one person that is being killed by the taxi industry, 5 white people. For every one black person who kill 5 white people, who kill one of us, 5 of you. We kill the children, kill the women, we kill anything that we find on our way. They kill one of us, we kill many. They kill one of us, we kill many. They kill one of us, we kill many whites. We kill the children, we kill the women, we kill their dogs, we kill their cats, we kill anything that comes.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I know I'm going to have to go and bleep a lot of that stuff out because it's not YouTube friendly. And apparently that guy is a parliamentarian, essentially a congressman in South Africa. Yeah, calling for that. Yeah, that's complete nonsense. But what's fascinating is the government's not doing anything about it, right? It might not be the actual government of South Africa doing it, but that's not the argument, is it? If the government's not doing anything to stop this kind of action, right? Oh, freedom of speech. No, that's calls for something way different than that goes well beyond speech. That crosses the line into violence, as a matter of fact, or at least it does in this country. Maybe it doesn't in South Africa. I have no freaking clue. But, I'm not from South Africa or nothing like that. I've been, a U.S. citizen my entire life. I've never even left the country, for goodness sakes. But, it's just fascinating that this day and age that we still have people out there that are that freaking racist. I just don't understand the racism. I talked about this on my Piers Morgan video the other day. If you haven't seen it, by the way, go check that out. It's fascinating. It's a good discussion. I break down my ideas on this that, I don't understand where this ethnic superiority idea comes from. Because when you look at statistics, and I'm talking like personal, like ethnic statistics, in other words, like, you break it down, like black people, they're faster, they're stronger, they have more muscle mass, blah, 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 you get it. But other groups have different attributes that are better. So when nobody here is better than anybody else, right? There is no superior race. There never has been, there never will be. I am of the firm belief that eventually, if the human species survives long enough, we're all going to be mixed. You're not going to be able to delineate between races at some point in the future. I don't know how long that's going to be, but I do believe that's going to be the case one day if we keep intermixing, right? Which, hey, I don't see a problem with that. I don't know anybody that really does, except for these blatant, despicable racists. But, my point is, there is no superior race. There never has been. There never will be. But let's keep going because the corporate press, they get into their ways, don't they? In a press conference on Monday, when asked about the incoming group of Afrikaners whom the U.S. has chosen to welcome as refugees at a time when the country is also executing mass deportations of foreign nationals, many of whom hold legal status in the country, Trump said it's because they are being killed and we don't want to see people be killed. Oh, mass deportations. Yeah, these are not equivalent, by the way. These people are not immigrants. These are refugees. That is a vastly different thing, right? They don't really want to come here. They would much rather stay in their own country, but they fear for their lives, so they are coming here. These people that we are deporting people that crossed our border illegally. They try to circumvent the process by which you can become a citizen of this country or a legal resident, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to be. They circumvent that process. And for what reason? We don't know, because they circumvented the process by which we asked them why you were coming to this country. You got to go. I'm sorry. That's just the law. South Africa leadership is coming to see me. I understand sometime next week, and we are supposed to have, I guess, a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation is taken care of, he told reporters, adding that South African government's treatment of Afrikaners amounts to genocide. It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that is taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa, and the newspaper and the media and television media doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about, he continued. The president did not elaborate on this claim, nor did he provide any evidence of a genocide against the group. That is so fascinating. I can't stand how the corporate press does this, right? They're trying to discredit what Donald Trump is saying here. And, and it's easily done, by the way, because the corporate press, the mainstream news, they're not really covering this at all. But you can go find a plethora of evidence on X. You can go find just about anything you want to, right? Take it for granted that some of it could be true, some of it might not be true. You got to decipher for yourself what is true and what is not. And that is hard, But, we do have the internet these days, and you can take something and go cross-reference that and fact-check it with local news, blah, 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 blah. You get it, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't raise it to the level of genocide, but it's a bad situation. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to call it a genocide as of yet. But yes, they are getting killed. They are having their land confiscated. And that's a bad thing that's going on. And these people do not care whatsoever. I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible, he went on. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here, the president concluded. Yeah, and I imagine he's going based upon Elon Musk, plus other evidence, of course. But Elon Musk is from South Africa, and he knows about that situation that goes on. There's many South Africans that have migrated to the United States that talk about South Africa, and they do not talk about it in endearing terms. That is for sure. According to South African authorities, Afrikaners are among the most economically privileged people in the nation. Does that matter? Is that denying that they're being killed? There are around 2.7 million Afrikaners among South Africa's population of 62 million, which is more than 80% black. Hence, despite being a minority, many in South Africa, given its fraught racial history, are confused by claims that white Afrikaners are being persecuted and meet the requirements to be refugees. There are many successful Afrikaner business leaders. Some hold cabinet minister positions in government, and their language, Afrikaans, yeah, I guess, Afrikaans, I'm not sure if that's the way you pronounce that, is widely spoken, including by non-Afrikaners, and is recognized as an official language. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing whatsoever. I can't stand when they try to bury the lead on these stories. Nonetheless, Trump and his South African-born colleague Elon Musk accused the country's government in February of implementing racist, anti-white laws and economic policies that disproportionately impact rural African farmers. Afrikaner farmers. That doesn't sound right. The claims are founded on a relatively small number of violent farm attacks and robberies on white people in rural communities, but the U.S. alleges that the attacks are racially motivated and that the South African government is fueling them by allowing anti-white rhetoric to circulate and not providing sufficient protection to white Afrikaners. So they have to, once again, they have to admit that this is taking place, but then they try to downplay it. Oh, it's just a few. Does that matter? Does the amount matter? Now, I don't believe it's just a few. I believe it's many more than that. But they don't give any numbers. They don't give any hard numbers, so we can't really say. And you try to cross-reference this stuff, and it's really hard to find information. I've found at least several dozen. Just my cursory search in about 20 minutes before I came into this video. There's a few dozen news articles, right? I didn't read all those news articles, I'm not going to lie, but there could have been some repeats in there, but I saw several, and I read 2 or 3 of them, and they're horrific, to be honest with you. They're just not good at all. The government says those claims are false, has condemned the farm attacks, and says their cause is being purposefully falsified. Is that so? I mean, there is video evidence of this group that resides within South Africa the EFF, I believe, something freedom fighters, something like that. That was the video you saw earlier. Yeah, they're actually calling for the death of these people, and it's insane. It really is. I mean, the government can make whatever claims it wants to, but when you have video evidence and there's all these news articles and these police reports, I'm sorry, it's hard to deny that, right? Once again, the government might not be going after these people, but nobody is saying that the government is doing this. Not a damn person. That's not the claim. That the claim is it's happening. They're not saying who is doing it. It doesn't really matter who is doing it. Violent attacks on farm owners in South Africa have been a problem for years, but instances represent a small percentage of the country's extremely high violent crime rates, which affect all races. So, once again, they're admitting that there's high rates of crime. That's just another reason for these people to come to the United States. Like, they're digging their own grave here is what they're doing, the corporate press at least. Fascinating, y'all. The government says there is no targeting of white people in South Africa and no persecution, and farm attacks are part of its struggles with violent crime. Oh, is that so? Like, you can say whatever you want, government, but the fact that the government's denying that this is happening and there's all this evidence to prove otherwise, yeah, that kind of goes to tell you that, yeah, they're complicit a little bit. If they're going to deny it, of course, it might just be an embarrassment, if you will. But considering the country has high rates of crime and you've got parliamentarians, these people that are essentially congressmen, calling for the death of some of their own countrymen, for goodness sakes, who cares if they're economically more advantaged than the other people? That doesn't matter, folks. Wealth doesn't matter. Like, you can't just target people just because they're wealthy. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. That's morally bankrupt when you take actions like that. When you get into that kind of brain thought there, that kind of thinking, just it's wrong. It's morally wrong, and we can't go down that path. At least in this country, I hope we never get to that. You know, we're seeing a lot of anti-white racism in this country. It's on the rise, and it's not being pushed back against enough, or at least not yet. We're starting to see inklings of pushback on this, which is good. It's really good because, once again, we need to nip this in the bud before it gets too far. You know, before it gets to a point where, like in the late 50s and early 60s, we had all this racial tensions and violence going on. We don't need that, folks. We don't want that, we don't need that, and we need to nip that in the bud. We need to stop with this racism nonsense, and we need to make people understand that skin color doesn't matter at all. It really is irrelevant to the bigger picture of living cohesively in this country and trying to get along on this planet together and make this country freaking work, right? Because this country has been running smoothly, fairly smoothly, for a pretty good long time, and we don't need some race nonsense to go in and mess all this stuff up. But I think I've been rambling for a pretty good while, so I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. It's crazy if you ask me. Like, look, I get it. I don't really want a bunch of refugees from over here. It's only like 49 people, so I'm like, it's whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, we don't need large numbers of people coming in. I'm sorry. We've had way too much of that. Until we get these mass deportations really going pretty good, then we can think about that, right? But this current situation, I'm fine with it, right? Because it's so low numbers. It's not all that bad, but I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this. That's all I got on this one. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. That would be great. I would appreciate the hell out of that. That would be cool. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. That would also be great. That's the best way to help me out. And I need y'all's help a lot. I need y'all to help me kind of spread these videos around because YouTube ain't going to do it for me. And I can't afford advertising, so it is what it is. I got to ask for you guys to just click that button right quick and share this with anybody and everybody. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got on this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.